This is a demo for my MVC development assignment, and once again, I've used the Eastside Theater theme. So this is my home page, and if I go to the staff view here, this is the index of the staff view. So I'm displaying each staff member, well, the top 6 staff members from my database, and I've given the user the option to add a new staff, to delete a staff member, or view the details and edit a specific staff member. I'm going to demonstrate creating a new staff member first. This is the create view, and I'm just going to add in me. And I'll say create. And when I go down to staff, you'll see that I have been added to the database. Another function here is that you can see the details of a staff member. So each column of the database is represented here. And then I can also edit. So if I want to capitalize my last name and save it. And then the last thing that you can do with the staff members is you can delete them. And it's going to show this view that is just asking if you're sure you want to delete them. And I'm using an HTML helper here to customize it. So it's grabbing the first name from the database model. And then I say delete, and I am no longer in the database. So I'm going to show a little bit of the code that I've used to create this. This is my staff controller, and I have actions here to display the staff members in a list, and it only shows the top 6, so I'm not showing every single staff member. That's my index action. And then I have an action to get the details of a specific staff member by ID, and then an action to create. This renders the view to create, and then an action to create a post when you create a new staff member. And then I also have an action for editing a staff member, and then subsequent action to create a post when a staff member is edited. And finally, you can delete, and this is the action for getting a delete, and then this action here will post the delete. This is the layout that I've used for my site. I have a navigation bar here with a little bit of jQuery to scroll to different bands on my website. And then I'm using render section to render different sections that are on the site. The one that you saw was render body, and that was the index where I show a list of staff members. So this is the index view where I showed the list of staff members, and I have a for each loop that goes through and adds a div for each staff member. Something that I did not show on the website, but I will go back to, an added feature was that I used a little bit of Angular to show a separate table in my database, the shows table. And I have a script written here that reads a JSON file, which is right here, with a title, playwright, and year. And I display it using Angular right here. So that is in the shows section, and this is the data that comes from the JSON file being read with Angular. This is the create view. This is what I have customized so you can create a staff member and add it to the database. I also have an edit, so you can edit by staff ID and post to the database. And then finally, you can delete using a custom delete view here. And I have an HTML helper here to customize the delete confirmation with the name of the person that you are deleting. Finally, I want to show my models. So for this one, I just have a staff model that I'm utilizing to display data from, and I have a staff ID, their first name, last name, their email, the position, and their first season, and I query all of this data, and I've used a few annotations such as required fields, and then display name. I don't want the user to see F name. I want them to actually see first name when they're editing or seeing details. And I've done the same thing with last name and first season. And that about wraps up this demo.